Okay, so what you're going to do for this particular project is a 1970s style rock poster. So, like a concert poster. You can have it be for anything. It doesn't have to be like a 1970s band. You can make it for anything. It doesn't even have to be for a band, but it's kind of fun. But you can use any content that you wish. But it's the style that I'm going after. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and, let me say this on tape here since I'm recording. Please make sure that when you're going, that you are watching the Adobe TV videos. I put a link inside of the class. Again, what I can show here only scratches the surface. There's so much more to learn. So there is a link that says Adobe TV videos inside of the Illustrator module. In fact, in every single module that we do, I've linked it to Adobe TV videos. And really, since this is a hybrid class, you're supposed to be doing all of the online things, including watching those videos. Not just the videos that I do in class, but all of the videos. And if you get bored, you can link, if you watch all the ones that are basic, you can just go to tv.adobe.com and go up here, go to the products, go to whatever product we're looking for. In this case, Illustrator, which I have open. And then you can watch. They have all different kinds of things and different shows by good designers and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff. So if you're ever like bored between classes or something like that, just come on up and watch videos. It's a lot of fun. You learn a lot. It's a fun way to learn. Okay, but back to the 70s rock poster. So to see what I'm talking about here, I'm just going to go ahead and Google. And if I just type in here 70s rock concert poster, images, whoops. So you can see the styles here that we're looking for. And let me look at like the, there's so many styles in here, but they all kind of follow certain things. Is that not going to pop up for me? There we go. It's not very big. But you can see here we have text along a path. It's text with an envelope wrap, and I'm going to show you that. We also have here, these would be traced images where you have you have like a Photoshop image or a photographic image, and then you do a trace and you turn it into vector, a vector image. Do you remember what the difference is between a photographic or raster image versus a vector image? Pixels. A rasterized image is made up of those little squares, pixels, every pixel being a different color, and all those different colors going together to make an image. That's why when you stretch out a vectorized image, it looks really bad because you start seeing the pixels. You lose a lot of quality. But with a vector, what it is, it's the filled lines. You have all the shapes, so you can stretch that out, shrink it, whatever you want to do, and you're not going to lose any quality. And for this, that's what we're looking for. Okay, let's look at some other samples because that one's really little. So you can see here they have text that's probably along a path or envelope wrapped, and these may be traced or drawn. That for sure is a live trace. Or you would use a live trace at the time. In the 70s, it was done on a wood block. It was carved, probably. That's the style we're looking for. So how would you get that kind of effect? Yeah, you know what I want to do? Hold on. I want to go here and I want to go back. Good. I have the class. That's what I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to open up a new document. You can do letter size, or if you want, you can make something bigger. If you do a custom size, you can just type things in here, 13 by 24. I don't know, whatever size you want your poster to be. But if you want to just work in letter size, that's all right. I don't have a problem with that. You can also change the orientation. If you want something sideways or whatever. I'm just going to take the defaults. Okay. Now, text along a path. I draw a path with my pencil. And now I can actually just type right along here. And I can go in and change that. I'm going to say type character. I see my character window is already open. Where is it? Right here. I have so much junk open. I can change the kind of font I use. Probably want a really bold font, don't I? Let's see. Something like that. Okay. Now, that's how you get it along a path. You just draw the path, move your cursor over it, and type. Now, the way you're going to do an envelope wrap, which is where you get the words that are all those funky shapes, I'm going to go ahead and type my word, make it bigger. And then I'm going to draw basically the shape that I want in here, that I want the word to be in. So let's say I want it, you'll fit this into your poster however you want it to fit in the poster. You can make all the shapes to put the words together however you want, but okay, there's my basic shape. I can open up the layers here. I want to make sure that I have these two things selected, and you can tell if something is selected by how it's different right there. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key and click on this one also so that they are both selected, both the shape and the word. Now I'm going to say Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object.
You use the pen tool right there. Can you use just the pencil tool?
Yes. You can use the pencil tool if you prefer to draw that way. Doesn't matter.
What about like the shapes too? Like doing
Yep,
shapes?
we can do that if we want. I can go ahead and delete this. And if I want to put it in a circle, I just have to make sure that those two are selected and that the shape is on the top. Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object. So that's how you get all those funky things. Now remember, the way that you can get like these to fill with a gradient, text automatically is just a stroke. It's not a fill. And a lot of those posters have, kind of gradient fill letters and all kinds of funky things going on. So what you have to do is you have to change your letters to shapes. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to take my black arrow, right click, whoops. I may have to do this before. No, there we go. I had to make sure I only had my text selected, which I probably have, so I have to do it probably before I do the envelope distort, after. So I right-clicked on here, and I'm saying Create Outlines. And now I can do gradient fills, except for I'm in outline mode. Where is my view? View. There. I just had my other thing behind it. Okay, so I have a gradient. Now, does everybody remember how to add colors to the gradient? How?
You have to click on the ingredients right there, and there's a little color palette.
Right. I can just drag a color from my swatches. Are my swatches open? I'm going to reset my essentials here because this is messy. Now all my tools are gone. Okay, there are my swatches. And I have to open up my gradient palette, which is right there. I can rip these things off. Now I can just drag colors down here to this gradient. Okay, this is also a really good time to pick a palette. You don't want to have just random colors. You want to make sure that you have colors that are working together. I don't want you just to be randomly random, right? So the way you can pick a palette, and you maybe use this for your logo. I don't know if future semesters, or I may keep these videos if they've done the logo first, but go Windows, Extensions, Color. And you can also reach this tool directly on the web by going to color.adobe.com. But here, like I typed elegant, so if you want an elegant poster, or let's see, how do you spell psychedelic? P-S-Y. I don't know if that's how you spell it. No results, so that's not how you spell it. Give me a word. Groovy. Look at all those groovy colors. Now, the reason why these show up for groovy is because some designer made this palette and told it was groovy. That's why. But you can look at these, see if there's anything you like, and that to me is very 1970s rock poster right there. So I can select it. Watch what happens to my swatches over here. I'm going to select it, add selected theme to swatches, and there it is. Now I can use this, and I have a decent palette to use. Oh, let's see, I want this. Yank off that white. Okay, well, you can play with that to get that the way you want it. Then once you have that gradient fill the way you want it, move this thing back on top, go back to your layers, which I have to open up. Well, there it is. I can just hit my control key, or excuse me, my select enter key, shift key, I guess it is. Make sure they're both selected. Object, envelope distort, make with top object. And there we go. So that's how they get the funkiness, the funky colors and shapes and all that kind of stuff that goes on. Now also, if you want to get some funky shapes, brushes are a fun thing to use. So if I select my brush tool here, let's see, Windows, brushes. If I go in here, let me move this over because it's off my record. I can open brush library and I can get, let's say, elegant curl and floral brush set. So there's all kinds of things that you can do in here. And then once you have that selected, you can take that and you can rotate it, flip it, whatever you want to do. That's kind of crazy. I'm out of control here. You can also change the color. Right now it's not showing up as anything because I have it. Whoops. Let me use my swatches. Did I close my, no, there are my swatches right there. See, I should have just kept it the way I liked it, huh? Let me see, we might have to have the color selected over here. Now let's try the brush. It's still coming up gray. That's kind of annoying. That's what I was looking for. Oh, up here. That's where it is. That's where you change color, is right up there. Again, obviously, like all the Adobe tools, pretty much you have your tool over here on the right, and then the properties. So whenever you're stuck, always look to the top. Also, when you are at home, if you're looking for like brushes that do different things, if you Google Adobe brushes or Illustrator brushes or whatever, Now, when you get to, I think, interface design, she'll actually teach you how to make your own brushes. We're not going to get into that type of thing. But you can get online, and they have all kinds of brushes that you can download. All this kinds of stuff. So, by using brushes and things, you can create a very visually rich looking image and start layering brushes and images and things all on top of each other to create a really rich poster with very little effort. I mean, you saw how easy it was to use those brushes. You just start drawing lines all over and you're going to end up getting something kind of cool looking, right? So that's a lot of fun. And there are just brushes all over. You can get anything that you're looking for, and you can get a lot of stuff for free. And just install it. Now, that being said, make sure that if you install any kind of funky fonts, for instance, let me show you here. My favorite font site is dafont.com. But if you use any, are we going? If you use any brushes or fonts or things like that, you're going to have to save your image before you get in here, like save it as a ping or save it as a TIFF or something, your poster. Because if you get in here and the brushes and the fonts are not installed, I'm not going to be able to see them. So if you do stuff in that with stuff that you install at home, please don't bring in your Illustrator project and expect it to look the same when you get here, because it won't if it's in Illustrator format. But once you save it as a pic or as a GIF or as a TIFF, which are the file formats that I recommend for this, then everything, your fonts and brushes and things are saved. But you can't edit it anymore. So you'll just be stuck using it at home. But we can't install a lot of fonts and things here because even though things, they may say that they're free, if you're using them professionally, you have to pay. But if you're using them for personal use or installing them on your personal computer, a lot of times the licensing is free. Well, the thing is here, we're a school, and so they would expect us to pay for them. We can't install the fonts and things for use on these computers. But as long as it's a font that says that it's free for use or a brush that says it's free for personal use, you can use it for your projects. That's not an issue. Yeah, see here, dafont. I don't know why it wouldn't come up for me. But like I can type in here Groovy. And they have all these different fonts here. And you just download it and install it on your computer. If you have a Macintosh, it's real easy. You just click on it and it will say, should I install the font? And you say, why, yes. Please install the font. And it does. Windows has a different font install system. But basically all it does is it takes a font file and sticks it in your font folder and registers it. But the other cool thing about this font, about dafont, is you can kind of look at what are you looking for. You're looking for a fancy script. I want something elegant, so I want something that looks like, oh, actually for these posters, let's go for graffiti. I want something graffiti looking. So I'm going to hit graffiti font. And I have these things that pop up. Again, I can't install these on our machines because if you look at the licensing and things, even though they're free for personal use, they're not free for professional. You can use them. All kinds of stuff in here. All kinds of fun you can have with brushes and fonts and things like that when you get crazy. Now, the other thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do some live tracing to get that, to get the images that almost look photorealistic or they have, the shape of a face or something like that. Let me look here. For instance, like this. You're probably going to have a photo or something that you're going to base on the face, like that. You're not going to want to probably draw something like that freehand. You might, if you're a good artist. You may well do that. But a faster way to do something like this is to use the Live Trace tool. And did I kill our class? I did. Now I put a movie in your class. Oops, that's not what I want. I want my courses. If you go into the modules, into Illustrator, I have this Illustrator poster. No, that's a rubric. Well, I'll put it up here. There will be in here. I thought I did. I have it. Must have put it in the other classes and not put it in yours yet. Let's go to a different section. So I'll show you what I'm going to put since I haven't yet. I'm glad I checked. Okay, let's clean up the image before tracing. There's a video on that, and I can't do it any better than this guy does. He talks about the things that you can do to an image prior to actually doing the live tracing. Let me shut this off. I can't. Okay. He talks about what you should do to an image prior to tracing it to actually get really clean results. Because if you just trace an image, just take any old photograph and trace it, you're going to have jagged lines and too much information and all kinds of different things going on. So before you do a live trace of a face or of something that's photographic, please watch this video, and I'll make sure that this link is inside of the modules. However, let me show you what you do in Illustrator. What you're going to do in Illustrator is you're going to place a document in here. The reason why you use place rather than just opening up a document in here is because you can have the same document open in Photoshop and in Illustrator at the same time. So you can be doing these changes and playing with the filters to get better results in Photoshop. You save it, and then it's affected over here in Illustrator. If you just open up the document, you don't have that kind of cross-working workflow situation. So you want to have this document open in the same two places at once. So it's open in Photoshop and placed in Illustrator. So I'm going to go ahead and place my babies from my desktop because I love my babies. Now I would have gone through, or I would be running the filters and things, deleting, like if I only wanted this one baby and not this baby, that type of stuff I would be doing in Photoshop prior to actually going into here. And then also you can be tinkering with and tweaking it at the same time with both of them open at the same time. But now with this selected, all I have to do is say image trace. And there you go. And I can change what it looks like by hitting this little button here. Okay, and it's taken the colors that are in the picture. Basically, that's where it's getting the colors. But now I can go in and I can change these things or do whatever I want. Oh, you have to expand. If you're going to make changes to it, you have to hit this expand button. And now these are all my shapes. I can mess with them, ungroup and mess with everything individually, however I want. Change the colors. start putting in my palette. What's this? This is really complex here, but you can delete things, move things, just like you drew it yourself. So pretty cool, right? Okay, so that's really all there is to live tracing. Again, well, I say that's all there is to live tracing. The hard stuff is actually what's going on in Photoshop. To clean it up, to take away a lot of the contrast. You have to brighten up the bright things and darken the darker things and stuff like that, just to make stuff pop a little bit better. But when you take all of those elements together, you can make a very nice looking rock poster. Or whatever poster, whatever you're looking for. Advertisement, or I know we have some marketing people in here, so you could probably make some cool ads or something like that. Okay, that is all to that. I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording.